sent hurricane-force winds in all directions and threw about 175 million tons of material out of the crater. Most of the meteor melted at the shock of impact, and much of it spread as a large plume produced by gases released from the impacted rock. Some of the melted meteor reformed as sand-grain-sized metallic particles called spheroids.
この人たちはあれメテオロイド。
家の中に落ちたの。
隕石が落ちてきて。あそこ破けてる。
あ、本当だ。
ほら、これだって隕石が落ちてきた車。
そんなにあるの？
そうだよ、こういう人に当たったら死んじゃうよ。空が落ちてきたって書いてある。
Today, we have no doubt that a meteor impact formed Meteor Crater. But in the past, the crater presented a mystery. All agreed that a large explosion had occurred. But was it a meteor or a volcanic blast? In the late 19th century, Grove Carl Gilbert conducted the first serious study of Meteor Crater. He was chief geologist of the U.S. Geological Survey. In 1891, Gilbert traveled to Arizona. His goal, to test the theory that a meteor impact had formed the crater. We now know that the meteor vaporized on impact, but Gilbert assumed that a giant meteorite lay buried under the crater floor. So he thought that the amount of material ejected from the crater should be much greater than the amount he actually found. Gilbert also reasoned that a magnetic survey would indicate a large mass of buried iron, but his experiments came up empty. Lacking evidence in support of a meteor impact, Gilbert concluded that a volcanic steam explosion had blasted the crater. This idea went undisputed until the early 1900s, when Daniel Barringer arrived from Philadelphia. In search of a giant meteorite, he began mining operations on the crater floor. After finding many meteorite fragments mixed with ejected rocks on the crater rim, Barringer was convinced that a meteor had formed the crater. Over several years, he gathered other evidence, such as fine silica at the site, which could only be created by the enormous pressure of a meteor impact. Barringer also noted the complete lack of volcanic rock or any sign of volcanic activity at the crater. Doubters still remained, however, until Dr. Eugene Shoemaker began his groundbreaking work at Meteor Crater. In 1960, Shoemaker and two colleagues discovered two new minerals in the rocks beneath the crater. The minerals coesite and stishovite are new, denser forms of quartz created by the extreme pressures and temperatures of a meteor impact. Today, scientists look for these two high-pressure minerals to locate the scars of ancient impact craters. In 1963, Dr. Shoemaker began studying craters formed by underground nuclear test explosions.
My hunch was that I would go have a look at Meteor Crater and see what the structure was, because it had never been thoroughly mapped and described. And so I didn't know what the structure was until I went. But having mapped this first, I went to Meteor Crater and voila! I was astounded that all of the parts of the crater that I could see in the little nuclear crater were reproduced here on a giant scale, including right down to the pieces of melted material.
Shoemaker's work finally convinced any doubters that a meteor impact had formed Meteor Crater. His work also jump-started the study of craters and inspired a closer look at the role of collision and impact on Earth and throughout the solar system. The incoming meteor created Meteor Crater in less than 10 seconds. The meteor was moving at an incredible speed, about 11 miles or 18 kilometers per second. The power of the blast sent hurricane-force winds in all directions and threw about 175 million tons of material out of the crater. Most of the meteor melted at the shock of impact, and much of it spread as a large plume produced by gases released from the impacted rock. Some of the melted meteor reformed as sand grain-sized metallic particles called spheroids.
这简直是个 microscope 弄一弄啊，它不行，它不行玩意。这几个盔子好不好？这叫双色的盔子。这个呢，那个是 next time 的那个盔子，都成了那个。这个就是 Meteor 盔子，这个现在是。对。 这个是叫都熟了，都是这个就是microscope 嘛，它Zoom是什么意思？就是看的比较细略。Zoom 的看法是，现在比较
水道管
？And the collision of a large comet with a planet is an extraordinary, once-in-a-millennium event. The impacts of the cometary fragments released more energy into Jupiter's atmosphere than all of the Earth's combined nuclear arsenal. The largest comet fragments entering Jupiter's stratosphere descended tens to hundreds. Adrift for possibly billions of years in orbit around our sun, an icy comet hurtled to our solar system, missing the Earth, Mars, and the other planets. Finally, the comet encountered the gravitational death grip of Jupiter. The tidal forces of Jupiter forever changed the destiny of this doomed chunk of ice. In July 1992, scientists estimated that the comet's new orbit moved it to within 113,000 kilometers of Jupiter. Tidal forces of the planet ripped the comet into many small fragments. The comet's demise came in July 1994 when it impacted the gaseous planet. It's unknown how long ago the comet was captured by Jupiter before its discovery on March 24, 1993 by Eugene and Carolyn Shoemaker and David Levy. It was the 9th periodic comet found by this team of professional and amateur astronomers. Comets are generally named after their discoverers. It's the name Comet P. Shoemaker 89. This schematic representation illustrates the breakup of the paranucleus of Comet Shoemaker 89 in July 1992, the evolution of its fragments, and their collision with the planet Jupiter. Jupiter and the comet's orbit are not stable. Analysis of high-resolution images of the comet taken by the Hubble Space Telescope suggest that the largest fragment
これは
そう恐竜の爪じゃない？あ、要はあれだよ。こうやって隕石が地球に衝突した衝撃とか熱で恐竜が絶滅したんじゃないかっていう説。
ああそう
65 million 小冰干的时候 distinction， 刚 Mexico 发生的，而那个65 million 它导致它那时候的灭绝。
这是个死胡同啊！
那肯定是改变了地球轨道了。
16,000 kilometers per hour. This representation shows the position of the lunar planet.
就那个门吗？那不是门。
那这儿出来吧？那这儿出来。